morning! I'm GoodEgor and you may know me for counting memes and cutting streams. This is a stats video in which I will tell you all the info I have collected from a bunch of different Undertale playthroughs by members and distant members of the NLSS. If you are not interested in me, an unfamiliar voice, talking for an extended period of time, then you can go and browse the spreadsheet yourself. Right away, when introducing all the actors involved, I will go over the first category of this pot of shame. It is about how far they got in the game. This one contains pretty much no spoilers for the game's story, but tells about the way people played and until what point. So first, we got the esports professional Northern Lion, the big egg daddy and the man who has brought Undertale back into relevance 2 years after its release. He had all the time in the world to hear what the game is about, so he comes in knowing that he has to not kill people. Thus, he completes the game doing both the important side quests and achieves the ultimate ending. Perfect run. Then, the esteemed co-host Rockley Smile, whose martyrdom we are to thank for making NL play the game. He quickly got the right idea of the way the game is intended to be played and followed it all the way to the ultimate ending, with just one hiccup at the beginning. Bear Taffy, the voice master. The way I originally experienced the game myself. I give a huge credit to his voices for making me fall in love with the game as hard as I did. Bear is the only person to hold his ground and not bend to chat's will. That means when he killed people, he did actually live with his early mistakes all the way to the end and had to replay the entire game to ultimately achieve the true ending. J. Smith OTI, the man of much childlike wonder. Pretty much a scum for playing the game perfectly up until the first ending and then putting it down forever. He fulfilled all the requirements for a true pacifist run, except actually going through the final sequence that would give him his perfect completion. Kate Lovely Momo, the girl that feels. Perfect run. She did everything the exact right way, except one thing: pronouncing names. Matas Games, the villain of Roundtable. He really wanted to live with his decisions, but still crumbled under all the yelling from YouTube comments and had to replay the first chapter. He then played to the ultimate ending. HC Justin. I'm not sure how closely, if at all, he knew the NLSS people back in 2015, but he is a very welcome addition to the roster today. So I found an unlisted bootleg VODs of his Undertale streams and found out that he is the only one who attempted a genocide run after his true ending run. Even if he did not finish it, stopping after Undyne the Undying, I would still say he gets the trophy for seeing the most content in the game out of all the people involved here. Zen and Cyrene, very much a blast from a very distant past. He was in a group with Green, Austin, Rob and Cam even before that group colluded with then's NLSS. A very good YouTube playthrough with lots of commentary and an almost perfect run through to the true ending. Red Panda Gamer, another character of old, the Guess Who and Cards Against Humanity days. Just like Matas, he is another YouTube soul converted to the light side after a few episodes of causing mayhem in the ruins. After replaying the first 2 hours in a pacifistic manner, he continues with that attitude right up until the endgame and drops the series completely before the final boss sequence. Indie Mouse, as always, ties every game he plays to Dark Souls, even though the souls in this game are actually quite bright, like literally 7 colors of the rainbow bright. Because he's an editing kind, there is very little stats I can derive from that one video. Just a few important points and a few minor ones. But another problem is that the supposed Part 1 ends before the MTT resort. There is still no Part 2 and I doubt there ever will be. Footage does not live that long on YouTubers' hard drives. One thing we know for sure about his gameplay is that he has killed people. The icon of our favorite subreddit, Dan Giesling, has played the first chapter and stopped early into World 2. The strange thing is, Krender stopped at the exact same checkpoint and he made the exact same decisions. And they both made the same decision in killing a lot of people. The final two also form kind of a pair because we know both played the game at one point, but the VODs are gone from this existence. Austin Last Grey Wolf has definitely finished the game, as I found on Twitter. but for a Robert Alpaca Patrol, I cannot be sure. The subreddit had a post, "When will Rob play Undertale again?" But I do not know what happened next, so I have no info on those two. We are done with the overview and it's time to jump into chapter 1. Everyone got by Flowey, except Indie Mouse, but I'm not sure if the reaction shown in the video is real. He knew something. Perhaps he knew too much. Rebelliousness check. How many people tried the other lever when Toriel thoughtfully labeled the correct one for you? 6 against 5 majority for the curious ones. Next query would be horniness and weirdness check, but it's a video game so many people feel the need to check every given option. Call Toriel on the phone, use call mom option, then call again with the flirt option. I found out that this action had a consequence. When doing the line reading edits after the ending, Ryan suddenly got a completely different set of dialogue from everyone else. It would also happen to Josh and RPG should they have finished the true ending. How many people obey the rules? When an unsupervised bowl with free sweets says take one, some people knowing they can get away scot-free will take more than they are supposed to. Ryan, Mathis, and RPG felt contented after doubling their dose, but Bear and Krender got greedy and ruined the fun for everyone. Only Kate and Dan behaved properly, and the rest, for some reason, didn't even go into that room. Cinnamon or butterscotch? This is the first actual decision imposed on you by the game in this video. The rest were just my observations. What I noticed is that multiple people just liked the way the game says B-scotch in the dialog box. All 3 people I edited into my Pot of Shame series said B-scotch, as did Josh and Mathis. Kate was the only one of the main known playthroughs who chose cinnamon. However, Justin, Zen, Dan, and Krender all chose cinnamon in a row. And Red Panda Gamer breaks the tie 6-5 in favor of butterscotch. Next up is the first performance section I tracked, the "Please do not walk on the leaves maze" puzzle. Fastest completion goes to Josh as he fell down once, read the sign, immediately understood the puzzle, and finished it in 1 minute 29 seconds. Red Panda Gamer made 2 holes and also completed the room in under 2 minutes. Everyone else was over 3. But time is unreliable here because the room spawns tons of encounters and people tackle them differently. The number of holes is a better gauge because it outs the people who brute force try and error. Dan and Krender fell 7 times each and both got the idea by the very end. Nick was clueless the entire way and has time of 6 minutes 42 seconds and 9 holes in the floor. Move the ghost with force? That's a very rude choice of words and every single one of them recoiled. Everyone said no, though Josh only did so vocally. After seeing there is no choice, they thrust into battle where everyone got the dapper ending except RPG and Bear. Because later, Jake, Red Panda Gamer, restarted the game, Bear is left as the only one whose decision to be rude to Blue Key lived until the end. Of course, Bear did a second run, but I only focused on their initial playthroughs. Here comes the second noteworthy puzzle, the perspective shifting room. Fastest completion goes to RPG with 1 minute 40 and 2 mistakes. What is very interesting is that he did not even read the plaques in the 3rd and 4th rooms and press the right switches randomly. But he did understand how the puzzle works in room 2, so I would not say that blind luck invalidates the result. Vast majority of people completely missed the point and kept coming back to the first room and pressing the blue switch there. Bear took the longest time and had to resort to chat's help. But I would say worst of all was Krender, who kept trying to press the completely wrong switches and kept coming at them at different angles in hopes that it would solve the problem. Zen understood the perspective and pillars immediately, but fell in a hole once and had lots of encounters. Nick also fell in a hole only once, but Josh and Mathis did not fail at all, except coming back to the first harmless room. We are in Toriel's house section. This is a nice detail to see the mindset of these people. When presented with a diary and the question, "Read it?" who refused to do so? The trifecta all decided not to do it. Discussing the psychological principles and societal behavior on the NLSS so much is probably what dictated that decision. Zen also did not invade the sacred privacy of a diary. However, before leaving the ruins, Nick did double check everything in the area in case he missed something, including the diary full of jokes. And Josh went back to read it after the phrase, "Why don't you read a book?" as a revenge on Toriel for not letting him play in the basement. All the others read the diary without much hesitation. Some even used the exact same phrase in response to the query. Heck yeah! I would say most of them did it because it's a video game, so I gotta check everything there is to see. Here comes the big one. Toriel boss fight. These people managed to do it right, whether by themselves or with chat's help, in order of fastest to slowest time. Josh, Kate, Zen, Ryan. Quite a short list, huh? Also, both Zen and Ryan managed to get killed by her. Here's the problem. Even if you do land on the correct option, which is spare, Toriel shows only ellipses for way too long. That might clue some people that spare doesn't do anything. So Dan, Crender, and Bear all murdered her and she stayed that way. Nick, Mathis, and RPG also had to kill her, but then reloaded. Nick immediately, Mathis halfway through the forest, and RPG after Snowdin. But the absolute funniest thing happened with Justin. He actually figured out the solution pretty quickly, and got to the point where the music stops and Toriel ceases her attacks. But mid-conversation he suddenly goes to use fight and deals 4000 damage, when she is most vulnerable. He reloaded immediately. There are not many interesting details to track in Snowdin Forest. I took note that Crender of all people was the only one who killed Doggo. The main question we get in the forest is the Jumble versus Crossword conundrum. Nick, Justin, and Zen chose Jumble and all three gave similar reasoning. Papyrus needs encouragement more, so let's give him this little victory. This is the point where we say goodbye to Dan and Crender. Next thing I wanted to bring up is the doggy fight result. Bear and Justin found the secret interaction with the stick, while all the others had to follow the standard path. I will go a tiny bit out of sequence here to say that both Bear and Nick predicted the outcome of the horrible colored tile maze, and Josh managed to skip it completely by repeatedly asking to go over the rules again. Now the X's and O's puzzles. Mathis and Kate both methodically thought through every step and got 41 and 43 second times respectively, with no failed attempts. Zen did it a tiny bit faster at just 40 seconds but made one trial attempt. Josh has a time of 7:23 with a bunch of distractions, but I'm absolutely sure that even if I cut them out, his performance with 8 failed attempts would still be slower than RPG's 8 failed attempts. What's funny is that the DAE programming man, Ryab, took almost 4 minutes, even if I didn't count his AFK time. The iced variation of the same puzzle generally went better. Everybody honestly failed just one attempt, except Ryan and Justin. Justin went too fast and thought he has no time to stop, so he failed a lot. And Ryan is just way too smart for this world. Now, what do I mean by honestly failed? Well, if you follow the right path and suddenly slide through the tile that was supposed to stop you, I do not count that. Or if you slid off without touching any tiles at all. That means you didn't even get to start your attempt. So the fastest times here are Jake RPG, my god, I only now noticed the synergy of his name with his handle, Josh, Bear, and Mathis. By going fast, Justin ended up the slowest, and second time from the bottom is the smart programmer. Snowdin Town. The percentage of observant people in this cast is 55.5, repeating of course. 5 people noticed the library sign against 4 who didn't. Similar situation to Toriel's diary is Papyrus's mailbox. Ryan, Nick, and Zen did not open it, while everyone else, including Josh, saw for themselves that it is empty. Papyrus fight. Every single person got hit by the blue attack, even RPG, who has done the fight before. He also commented "dabba-dee dabba-die," which was my first thought when I heard bone trousel. Nick and Zen got captured twice. For Zen it means he got the slowest time, even with some backtracking time he allegedly cut out. For Nick it means he missed out on one of the sweetest moments in the entire game in my opinion. The beat drop when "nyeh" is replaced by bone chisel. Justin and RPG got captured once. Ryan managed the fastest time of 8 minutes 20 seconds, closely followed by Mathis with 8 minutes 30. Everybody still in the game dated Papyrus almost right away. All the dialogue there is basically non-decisions, so there is nothing noteworthy to compare. At Grillby's with Sans, the game presents another question for all you culinary-minded folk out there. Ryan and Mathis chose fries while all the other 7 people chose the burg, probably because it is more of a standalone meal. Next puzzle is bridge seeds. Absolutely everybody forgets the sign they read in the previous room that said, the seeds will sprout if 4 of them align. Formations of 3, 2 by 2 squares, even diagonal attempts. I don't know. Josh was the fastest with only 2 fails and a 1 minute 50 time. And one of those fails was the sign. Everybody except Kate and RPG read the sign, but only Justin also went to the room on the right and found the abandoned quiche. Because he went for both secrets, he has the slowest time. I was going to say that again, the smart programmer is second from the bottom in both time and attempts. But then remembered that he had to build the bridge to the sign twice. Apparently, the little troll that the sign can only be read from the front was added in a patch, because I have seen other people read it from the top in older streams. The piano puzzle. I have heard rumors that Kate is a god with her perfect pitch in this puzzle, but it turns out that her performance is actually not as impressive. She had no problem inputting the music box into the piano. Same for Nick, and he did it faster. But I allocated 2 lines to this puzzle. One is for the time passed from the first entering the piano room until the passage opens. The other is for the time passed since entering the piano after enabling the music box until the passage opens. The problem with Kate's performance is that she enabled the music box, went back, starting the timer, tried for a bit, said something about not having the right notes, went to listen again, and then got it. Nick, on the other hand, enabled the music box, went back, and punched in the solution in 8 seconds. He did also backtrack to a different location entirely and tried to input its background music. So for the performance on the piano itself, Nick gets the top spot, but overall the fastest person to get this puzzle start to finish is actually Ryan. Josh took the longest, but he at least did it. Same can't be said about Justin, Zen, or Jake. Next one is strange. There is a question the game asks. Beat up the dummy? And all 3 of the men I originally edited said no. I didn't even write that down in the spreadsheet. But now, collecting the info on all the other people, what do I see? Josh, Kate, Mathis, and Zen all punched the dummy. Wow, fake pacifist. Tracking performance on the Mad Dummy fight was utterly pointless. The fight is mostly on rails and it is easy to understand what the game wants from you. Nobody died and everyone got times within 1 minute of each other. Except Bear, for some reason, who was a lot slower. Next is the most important stat of all. How long did you feel like garbage for? The absolute leader is Justin with 4 minutes 19 seconds, but he cheated a little bit and used it as a bathroom break on his stream. Next are Josh and Nick, who were both physically there for the entire duration. Zen had the shortest stay at only 46 seconds. The only 2 people to successfully lead the Yellow Snail to victory are Bear and Justin, who have the exact same record at 1 win and 3 losses. Lil Neck got addicted and lost 12 times in a row, by far the most out of everyone. Here we come to the Undyne fight. It breaks people. Poor Nicholas spent 41 minutes there, just surviving the attacks for extended periods of time. The reason he had to endure so much is his chat policies, which prevented feedback from going through even when he needed it so desperately. Mathis went online and found the solution there. Zen got a hint from Cyrene. Fastest completion with no fails goes to Bear at 7:39 and Josh, still deathless, at 11 minutes 23 seconds. This is the point which determines the ending people will get. People who dated Undyne right away will get the best ending achievable on the first playthrough. Toriel and family variation. People who didn't will get the Toriel betrayed Undyne variation, and they will have to date her after the reload. Bear, as the only one continuing a non-pacifist route, will get the Undyne ending. For more information, just go over to the Undertale wiki and type in endings. On the Undyne date itself, Ryan was the only one who went high tea and said he came here to brag and rub victory in her face. Everyone else needed the help of Papyrus to set the fish on the friendship track. Ryan, Bear, Josh, Justin, and Zen followed Undyne's cooking style, while Nick, Kate, and Mathis petted the vegetables and put in spaghetti one at a time. Here comes Metaton. Bear, Josh, Mathis, and Jake listened to the host and promptly applauded themselves. The table of correct and incorrect answers on the quiz show is on the screen right now, and Zen actually managed a perfect game, answering the first 3 questions right and discovering Alphys's help on turn 4. Red Panda Gamer and Mathis both noticed her help too, but still made a mistake by impulse on turn 6. And hooray! Some stats for Indie Mouse. As for the final question, I think 90% of the players picked the human, but Mathis and Justin somehow saw through the charade and picked Undyne, even though they know Alphys for like 3 minutes. Let's go out of sequence here and get all 4 box puzzles out of the way. Despite being a total joke in difficulty, the right puzzle stumps people the most, because most people do not notice that they have 2 shots. Josh, Justin, and RPG all got it quickly, while Mathis stood there the longest. As soon as you understand the rules, which is the whole point of the right puzzle, the left one was easy for everyone, but Nick was the fastest. Top puzzle is completed in 2 moves, and I saw a couple of people get a clean shot and then ruin it the next second by accident, without even noticing. Finally, the smart programmer gets first place on a puzzle. Same can be said about his wife though. She struggled an unreasonable amount of time, and then she did it again with the bottom puzzle, but Mathis breezed through it in 10 seconds, then took 2 more. Because of Alfie's interference, time goes by very strangely in all Metaton encounters, but I did still make notes of how much time players had left after the cooking show and the news report. Because of a misunderstanding, Nick only had 3 seconds left on the jetpack sequence, and in the bomb defusal episode, Zen had 2 bombs remaining, Justin had 1. Everyone else managed to clear the minesweeping exercise easily. Now for the hardest puzzle in the game. When you have been on the same screen for over 10 minutes, and you finally get it, and you see how easy it is, you should feel embarrassed, Nicholas and Bear Taffy. And yet again, the smart programmer gets to show his wits. Finally he started resonating with the game. Versus Muffet. Zen wins. Zen straight up wins. I didn't even notice he still had the spider donut and he actually remembered it. Best performance again by Josh. He keeps backtracking to Snowdin for the overheal, and it greatly helped him preserve the deathless run to this point. Kate has a bad streak in Hotland. On top of the impossible puzzles, she now had to deal with this for over 28 minutes. No real decisions in the resort, and goodbye Indie Mouse, we barely knew you. Apparently no one can read. Either Fighter Path or Sage Path lead to the end. But no, even when you have already done the puzzle, go ahead and waste all your heals on the mobs. Ryan, Nick, Mathis, I'm talking to you. Justin also solved the puzzle, but after dying repeatedly to the Fighter Path, finally went ahead. RPG was the only one who did not attempt the Fighter Path at all. Good on him, because he also did his puzzle in the fastest time. Sexy Metaton is tough as nails. Not the manicured kind, but carpentry kind. Although maybe Metaton's manicured nails are made out of carpentry kind of nails. I don't know. Fastest time was posted by Kate all of a sudden. And Josh's deathless run was sadly ended. I am uncertain who had the toughest time facing him, because Mathis and RPG have 4 fails on camera each and then cut to the finished fight. Whatever. What I do know for certain is what people wrote in the pop quiz. All of the responses will be on screen for some time. Oh, and goodbye, Jake. I can't even imagine why you would stop playing before the final boss. At least attempt it a bunch of times and say it is unfun and garbage and unfair and the controls suck and your vision is obstructed. I don't know. Asgore. Again, YouTube people use their magic to save themselves the embarrassment and save us the valuable time of our lives. But here it does not matter much, because the people that edit stuff out most likely still are not the worst. The one who got it bad was Justin, whose pain and suffering is all caught on stream. 11 deaths and 49 minutes. Meanwhile, Bear has an unfair advantage. Because he killed people earlier and gained some oof, he has more experience fighting and has more HP. So with 1 death and a 9-minute time, he got it best. But Ryan only took 1 minute more and he didn't have that advantage. Interesting stuff. Oh yeah, after all the frustration Asgore caused, Justin was the only one who actually killed him without Flowey's help. And without hesitation even. Omega Penny appears. Or is it Swallowed Penny? It doesn't really matter. Omega Flowey is a boss that is supposed to look impossible, but in practice should be pretty easy. Again, YouTube magic deprives me of some accurate numbers, but for sure we know the winner of this fight is Bear. He has not died once and finished it in 7 minutes 35 seconds. Nick and Josh died 4 times each, but we know Zen died at least 5 times on screen, and he said I died many times, so I decided to edit down to important parts. I'm absolutely certain that his total time would turn out more than the slowest full time on the board. And that's Undertale. The end. I already told you the endings, but I will repeat. Ryan, Josh, Kate, and Mathis got the best ending available. Nick, Justin, and Zen got the ending where Undyne gets a little bit screwed. And Bear, because he killed Toriel, gets the ending where Undyne gets into power. And basically everyone gets screwed. Reload time. Bear starts fresh, 3 people date Undyne, goodbye Josh, and we are caught up again. Bear, Kate, and Mathis read the letter immediately, in Snowdin. Basically right in front of Undyne. Lion nice, idiots, lion nice. Do you like anime? Ryan and Bear didn't even try to be nice this time. Let's roleplay. Mathis gave both horny answers. Bear gave 1 and 1. All the others tried to be reasonable. And Kate was the only one to make Alphys roleplay as Undyne. All the others tried to be reasonable. Another great question, is anime real? 4 to 3. Sorry Undyne, the majority says it is not. Live with that. Final boss. Azrael Dreamer, an anagram for serial murderer. Bear got killed 6 times, but was not even close to being the slowest somehow. The slowest was Kate. Perhaps the fields slowed her down. She showed by far more of those than all the men. Even our sweet boy Nicholas. And the final decision that I noted. Do you stay with Goat Mom or do you have places to be? Zen was the only one who chose to live, and it was a hard decision, with reasoning and feels that go outside the game. You can go look it up. That is all, folks. I completed the project. Do you think this idea was even stupider than counting memes in a comedy game? I kinda think it was. I appreciate your attention. Good night.